Is this working? Let me see. Let me see. Okay, seems like it's working. I can see it on my computer, so hopefully I should be able to read the chat if there's any questions. But otherwise, I'll just be working on this today. I'll actually show some of the time lapse. Just, it was an interesting process. I was trying to record like an Instagram reel thing, and I kind of separated layers so it's like you can get like this satisfying fill effect when you like color drop. So maybe I'll make a reel out of that. But yeah, so initially it was just this like cherry blossom illustration. This character is my friend's original character. It was his birthday yesterday, and I was supposed to, or typically I draw stuff for people's birthdays, but I kind of forgot. So today I'm trying to make it up to him, and typically for my birthday art, I just do like a quick sketch. But since I was a day late, I kind of felt bad. So I just went all out, and yeah, initially it's gonna just be like a square aspect ratio. But yeah, no, I just felt inspired to make it like a 2x1. I think that's the term, or just like a desktop wallpaper type of aspect ratio. Wait, let me check if this stream is still working. Inspired to make it like a 2x1. I think that's the term, or just like a desktop wallpaper type of aspect ratio. Wait, let me check if this. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so where I'm at so far is that I'm still detailing the hair a little bit. I've been playing with gradients, selecting and stuff. I still think it's like 40% done to what my current vision of it is. I can take it like as far as or as quick or as like short as I want to, but yeah, I'm gonna try to see. I don't plan to work on it for a long time, but yeah, let's see how far we go. This is also the first time I'm gonna be streaming on YouTube. I don't know, I feel like I should be talking about my process more. And since people really wanted to see my process in the previous video about how when I was drawing the other illustration, I thought I would just like show it right now. Well, some things to keep in mind though is that my coloring style for this one's a bit different. I'm kind of going for a more like abstract. I'm gonna go for like a less like Western approach to lighting. I'm gonna be maintaining more of a Japanese approach to coloring, which means an increased focus on local colors and less of a focus on like strong lighting or shadows, stuff like that. So yeah, what that means is that I'm not gonna necessarily have like a really strong light source. Light source is not the focus, and ambient light is not really a focus. It's just how interesting each of the colors play in with each other without lighting, I guess. So that's something important to keep in mind. Yeah, I've been working on, let me see the stats. I think maybe it's like 2 hours. 3 hours. Decent amount of progress. Well, I would say maybe I would say 2 hours, because I think the first hour I was really trying to make it like Instagram reel, like Instagram reelable, I guess. So I was trying to make like the drag and drop effects like pretty satisfying, but not gonna lie, I kind of gave up on it. It was not really worth my time. Okay. Let's see. I've been playing around with like a border effect lately. But yeah, I guess right now I'm trying to match the character a bit more. It's not gonna be kind of like a boring process. So hold on, I was reading a message. I hope my stream displays the chat if there is any messages. But I don't mind talking to myself for the entire stream, because I know this stream. All I'm hoping it'll be saved so that people can view it after it's done being streamed and hopefully learn something about my process. Yeah. I was actually very surprised about the performance of the last video, or my first video. I think when I uploaded art videos before, I was only getting 50 views, but that was at a time where I was a lot worse, I guess. So maybe that's why. Okay. I've actually never practiced drawing while streaming that much, or drawing while speaking. So, yeah, let's see how much I'll slow down my drawing speed. What was it? Okay. So, one thing that I have to do is incorporate a bow tie into this character. It's like a pink bow tie. It's gonna be interesting to see how I do it, because I still haven't figured out how I'm gonna include that in the scene without breaking the composition. And not gonna lie, I've already changed like quite a few things in this illustration, and I don't want to like go too off canon of the original character design. Okay. I've just been working on the hair because I think it's the most fun part. I think now is a good time to like take a stab at the hands, because I've kind of been avoiding it, and I think it's time to actually do something about it. The hair is in a pretty nice spot, so I'm gonna like I always compress my layers when I'm working on iPad, because the selection tools in Photoshop are pretty bad. So it's like pretty difficult to get the selection I want. Hey, someone subscribed. Why am I getting so many notifications? Okay. So how I typically draw hands is probably only works for my style, because my style isn't the type of style to be very detailed with the hands. I think certain styles you do need to be good at that type of thing. But for my style, it's a very graphic style, so I can go as hard as complicated or as detailed as I want. So it's nice. Yeah, like I was saying earlier that I was really surprised at how my previous video did, or my first video. My first art video only got like 50 views, and I think partially the reason why was just because I didn't really make, or my stuff wasn't really that good back then. But yeah, seeing the performance of that previous video really like surprised me. So I'll probably be making more content in the future because it does seem like a lot of people are interested. I hope you're all doing well, by the way. Recently for me, I dropped the course at my school because it's just taking too much of my time, and that was when I started recording videos and stuff and making reels on Instagram, just because I had a lot of free time. That course kind of killed me. It was a course in computer architecture, so learning about how computer CPUs work, and like the memory pipeline, stuff like that. All very like tedious stuff, I guess. But I like computers. It was actually my first interest, like my first big interest, and probably my biggest interest of all, actually. I only got into drawing in 10th grade, and even then, I wasn't even like that interested in it. Like I only did it because a friend did it. But I actually got more into it as I got better, because I'm like really like, I guess, critical of myself. So if I see myself doing bad art, it's kind of demotivating. Or at least when I was like really starting off at the beginning, because I thought many times that art wasn't for me because I was like a computer science student, and I honestly thought like those two skills are pretty like diametrically opposed, so they're kind of like mutually exclusive, you know. But that's actually really not true. I think the way I think about computer science and like solve those type of problems is similar to art. And I actually think that it's one of the reasons why I was able to improve to the level I am at today, because it really is computer science taught me how to be resourceful, how to look things up. And in art, I think that's a very important skill to have, especially if you're just self-taught. I don't like this hand. I think it's too big. I think my proportions are off slightly on the head. So, let me see. I'll just shrink everything down right now really quick. I was gonna fix it earlier, but I kind of forgot that I had to do it. So I think everything up here should be shrunken down. think that made it slightly better too. Her head was kind of big. And the brush I'm using, guys, is a square brush. Actually, it was from when I got critiqued by Jackie. In the last video, she got this brush from another one of her classes, and she decided to give it to me because I think he gave this brush out to everyone that was taking that class. The original artist was Peter Chan, and he did like viz dev work in the industry. He was one of I think he worked at Pixar or something like that, and he was a really respected artist there, I guess. He taught many of the professional artists we know today. About art, about color, I guess. Yeah, so far I haven't gotten to the detailing yet, or the layering of effects stage. I think that'll be a really fun stage of the process to talk about, because it's personally my favorite part. The blocking in of shapes and colors is honestly kind of boring. It's kind of really tires me. I don't like to do it for long. That's kind of why I don't like rendering, because it just takes a long time, and it doesn't feel rewarding to me. Why would you feel proud of spending tens of hours just drawing one thing while you could have just drawn it in 1 hour and focus on other things? And it's not like you're even trying to tell a story with that by improving to draw, or by improving one object in the scene. Sure, you're getting it oh yeah, so question, wow, you do it without line art? Actually, yeah. I guess I started with line art. I think I had a bit of line art, but it was just a sketch process. I think after I blocked these things like this, I completely transitioned to drawing with shape. Because drawing with shape is, I think, the new modern style. At least that's what I see on Twitter. I think the old style is drawing with line, and I think that's kind of it's still really popular, but I think nowadays painting or drawing without line is becoming more popular. And personally, I was raised to paint without lines. And I think most people are, but I guess for some reason in the anime community, people still go back to lines. But typically people that draw without lines, they can still draw with lines. Because lines are just kind of a cheat, I guess. It's a shortcut to making things. I can add lines on right now, but I just won't, because I think every time I've tried to do it, it just makes my piece look worse. Because, what was that? Lines make my art look worse because hold on. It's just Hmm. How do I explain it actually? That's a difficult question. I think it goes back to um I guess focus. So if I put lines like let's say around the face, it will draw a lot of attention to the face that I don't necessarily want, because lines are like the highest form of contrast. You have like a black on like a black color, and I shouldn't use black. That's kind of unrealistic. Like, but maybe like a red. It's still like kind of, yeah, maybe like that. I think yeah, subtle lines here. Yeah. I think if you're reliant on lines is a skill issue. That's a hot take, but I honestly believe in it. Like, if you're too reliant on lines, that means you can't. Um, you're not good at controlling contrast in painting. So, you have to use lines to make that contrast yourself. I actually, yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. Um, how long have I been studying illustration? Um, I started 6 years ago during COVID. It was 2020. So at the beginning of COVID, I had a lot of free time. So, and my friends drew at the time too. So I just like said, why not? I was like a computer science student, as I said earlier. So I thought it would have been like good to just branch out. Yeah, lines are thin shapes. Yeah. They're also quite noisy in a way, depending on how you use it. It just destroys flow of the image, I guess. Like if you're always using lines, without lines, it's like it allows like the eye to like travel a lot more smoothly. Oh yeah, I'm struggling with value. Maybe that's why I have to rely on lines, sadly. Um, yeah, that's probably why. Don't Yeah, if you're really serious about getting good at art, then I would definitely try to defeat that habit. But if you're just trying to stay casual, and maybe all you want to do is just like draw like line art, like for manga, or just uh, like I guess mid-level anime illustrations, then sure, I think you can stay with lines. Because learning painting is a really long process. It's like, and not everyone makes it out at the end. Um, so I would only learn how to paint without lines, or yeah, learn how to paint without lines uh, if you really had lots of time to commit and you want to get to an advanced level. Because it's either you do know how to do it or you don't know how to do it. If you're in the middle, it's just gonna look bad. Um, yeah, sure. Feel free to work along. This stream will probably be like a few hours, and yeah, we'll just be talking. But yeah, I think yeah. Going back to the question, how long have I been studying illustration? It was 2020. Bored. Friends drew art too, so I felt like drawing too, or I guess I had a reason to start drawing. Oh, wait, Yone Yamamai is like a bad example though. Like she only uses lines. So, uh, yeah, no, if you're just trying to get Yonayama Mai style, then it's actually fine to like use lines. Because Yonayama Mai doesn't paint. She just uses a lot of liner, and she's really good at that. Which is like it's fair. Like you don't have to be, and I think her background was in animation, so I guess her using lines a lot in animation really develop her skill in that, and I guess she never really had to use paint. So it's just different paths artists can go. There's not necessarily a right way or a wrong way. For illustration, though, I think you kind of need to know how to paint. And for illustration, I mean like game illustration, or like splash art, or like drawing for like, I don't know, like Genshin Impact or something. I don't know. Character design, though, is a skill that doesn't need painting. So there's a lot of different things that you can do even if you're not good at painting. But yeah, it's funny, Yonayama Mai. I used to when I was first starting off, I used to reference her art a lot. And I think recently there's a really good documentary on Yonayama Mai by like, it was like it's on YouTube. It's by like Archipel or something. Oh yeah, I should probably put something in the description. But yeah, my Instagram is, I just typed my my tag in the chat. I should put that in, but it's whether I'll do it later. What was I talking about? Yonayama Mai, right? Oh yeah, there's her documentary. Yeah, there's a really good documentary like showing just like I think it was like a day in the life, and she talked about, it was kind of like deep from what I remember. I watched it kind of a long time ago, but I think I'll just search up the video because I thought it was a pretty cool video. I really like the YouTube channel that produces the I tried to do Yonayama Mai style and gave up. Yeah, she has a very good sense of line control and detail control. My biggest weakness is detail control, like where to place small details, where to place big details. I think that's the biggest thing that's holding me back personally. So I think I do have a lot to learn if I try to study her. Like if you look at her illustrations, details get like microscopic. But for me, I don't know, the smallest detail I have in this illustration so far is, I don't know, these leaves. Yeah, I just posted the video. It's a cool documentary. I think I posted, did I? Yeah. Nobody else actually does Yonayama Mai's style, interestingly. Like, I've never seen an artist do what she does. I think part of the reason, though, is because she's been going off into the more abstract type of anime art, which I think a lot of people like shy away of. Because I guess a lot of anime artists on Twitter like to draw like characters from like anime or games, like Genshin art or something. So I guess there's no place for abstract art in those type of fandoms, I guess, or audiences. And yeah, that's actually a good point. Yonayama Mai doesn't do any fan art. She only ever did animation, and then she only ever did abstract looking anime pieces. Composition is what I like the most from Santi. Um, yeah, composition. It's, I don't know, I'm trying to, like, for me, composition came really naturally. Like, if you, uh, I, I, I don't know how to put it. Because composition is such an abstract idea. There's no big rules behind it. Yeah, there's like the rule of thirds and like compositional rules, but they don't teach you a sense of how to come up with those rules. And I think for me, I somehow got the sense of how to create those rules, because I never, like, people always say my composition is pretty good, and well, I might be talking uh, like I know what I'm doing in regards to composition, and I kind of don't know. Like I don't know for sure if my composition is that good, but I feel like I've never had an issue with composition. Like all the professional artists that have critiqued my art, they don't really say much about the composition. So maybe I'm doing fine, and I hopefully I think I'm doing fine. But my biggest tip for composition, I don't know, it might just be to learn photography, or learn 3D modeling, because in those fields, it's very easy to change the composition without having to like repaint details. Like in like Blender or something, you could just move around the camera and find a new composition. So I guess in that sense, you're practicing composition like always, and without much effort. While with drawing, you pretty much have to repaint the entire scene. Which is definitely probably the slowest way to improve. Sorry, I was doing something. Yeah, visuals, storytelling, and composition. I think yeah, it's a really hard topic to discuss it, since I think framing shots is the most abstract idea in art. Color theory is second, or learning how to color is second, not necessarily color theory, since that's like a rule, I guess, or like a guidelines itself. Learning how to color is really abstract. Drawing is not very abstract. Drawing like things, or like I guess in other words, observational drawing is not abstract at all. It's pretty rule based. So I think for composition, you really have to it just has to click. And you just have to keep looking at your art, asking for critique, and learn it that way, I guess. There's no concepts to learn. You just have to ask people who are better than you and learn tips from them. Let's see. She makes the stuff we make fan art of, haha. She works at Trigger. Yeah, she did work at Trigger. Wasn't she like an animation director? She was really, I think now she does animation directing, if I remember correctly. Yeah. uh, yeah, that's Santi. I was gonna ask that. Like, what level were you trying to reach? Um, and yeah, Yona Yamamai. Uh, yeah, I think a lot of her art. So if you're trying to evolve it, I think you should go into more abstract. I don't mean like abstract as in like random. Uh, like random ideas. Wait, like it's like the type of abstract art you would see at like an art museum, like banana on like a brick or something, or like banana taped to a wall. That was like the meme. You don't have to do that, but I guess I think Cynic's is kind of Cynic's design. He's pretty abstract too. So I guess studying more abstract art. And by abstract art, I just mean what is abstract art? I guess it's focusing more on the beauty of the lines and shapes rather than the content matter itself. I don't know if that was a good way to put it. And I don't even know if my definition was good. Do I have a goal to work in a certain industry? No. I just do art as a sport. I just want to. I do take it pretty seriously in how I improve. I think I take everything in my life pretty seriously. Like, one thing I've been getting into is cooking and piano. I try to reach. I really like to learn things, and I think getting better is just a natural consequence of my my world outlook, I guess. So I never really intended to be good at or get a job in art. I just really like to improve at art and other things. So this is how I came to be. So no, I don't have a goal to work in a certain art industry. Though if I had to pick, I'd probably be most suited in visual development or background paint or color scripting, because I think what I'm good at is coloring, and well, that's just because I spend the most of my time on that, and I think it's the least amount of work to get a good level at get a good level of. By work I mean like practice. Like, I was actually planning to make a video on every artwork I've ever made, and I do have every artwork that I've ever made. And if you actually look at my artworks, my colors just get better and better. I think it's just because I think about it a lot, and I do various other forms of art, like photography. I think it really like borrows from other types of skills. For me, color wasn't. I also took a bunch of courses in color from like professionals, so I think that's why that's my specialty. But yeah, my actual goal, my professional, the path I'm going down right now is to go into. So I'm studying computer science at a university in like Bay Area, so I'll probably, I don't know, just get like a software engineering job. That's probably where I'm headed towards. I'm also pretty interested in research, machine learning research. So yeah, maybe I'll develop the next like anti AI art algorithm or model. Save all the artists on Twitter. So what's my workflow? Do I build everything in one shot? Do I try different composition scenarios? Um, that's a big question. Uh, should I just... I'll just play the replay again. I just did the initial line drawing. Well, for this one, I was looking at a reference. Like cherry blossoms and other works that use cherry blossoms. And yeah, so the composition, it changed like midway. So initially I was just gonna go for like a square aspect ratio because I was just gonna post it on Instagram and square is typically the best. But halfway through I changed it because I thought this would just be a lot more interesting than the previous one. Oh, lots of people do like thumbnail and stuff, and by thumbnail I mean like it's thumbnailing is a term that means that you sketch out different like you sketch out different compositions like really roughly of a piece that you're gonna do. It's taught in like every class I've taken. I personally never do it because it's just I feel like my specialty is in, or what comes naturally the most to me is composition and color. For others, like yeah, I get it. Like you like what it might be different for you, but for me that type of thing came easily. So I personally don't do it, but I know for others it could be a really useful thing. And I know in like professional workflows that yeah, they do thumbnail a lot. And they do gather a lot of references as well. And yeah, so I basically build everything in one shot, which isn't the best way to work, but it's the way that works for me the best because I'm lazy. I think what gets me drawing is or what gets me to draw the most is having the workflow that fits me the most. Like if I were to start every illustration by doing stuff I didn't like to do and I thought were useless, then I wouldn't draw. So I try to only do what I like to do and get really good at. And as a consequence of that, I get really good at what I like to do, which is a good feedback loop you want to get into, I think. But it's like I said, I guess if you're trying to become the best artist in the world, you want to try to target your strength, your weaknesses as well. But I also think that not everyone can be the best at everything, and maybe you do want to focus on one area for your entire career. Yeah, I could be a color script artist. The course I took was, I took, so some notable people I've learned from were Kat Sai. I'm gonna type in the chat if anyone wants to look him up. So I typed 3 artists. Catherine Sai. She's right now, well, her specialty is in color. She was a Viz Dev artist at what was this, Sony Animations, and she helped develop the scenes for Into the Spider-Verse. So she's a really talented color artist. I learned a lot from her, probably the most out of any color artist. And my workflow kind of not well, not anymore, but Like for this illustration I'm doing, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't match what she taught. Uh, Nice. I've always wanted to do cat size class. Maybe when I have more time. Um, yeah. Yeah. Orangi. If you uh, I think her class is really good if you have a deep, like a pretty good fundamental value or fundamental like understanding of values, because I think her class, it really teaches how to. It's more on the intermediate. She advertises it as a beginner to like intermediate class, but I actually think that it's an intermediate to advanced class because she only spends 1 week on value, or 1 to 2 weeks, something like that. And I honestly don't think it's enough. Like the first color class I took from Wayne Tse, um, I think he works in the movie industry, animation movie industry, like I don't know, making like animated movies for like Kung Fu Panda or something. King Le is also in that realm. I think, yeah, Wayne Tse, like half of his class was on value, so 4 weeks, and 4 weeks of like 8 hours of work every week. So you were gonna get like a pretty good understanding of value. But Catherine Tsai, like her class only took 1 week on it, and thankfully I did have a pretty good. I didn't have a pretty good. I was like okay at values. Um, I wasn't the best at it, to be honest. There were other students better than me. Uh, and yeah, I think from her class, she really taught how to explore different lighting scenarios, different like stylistic approaches to color, which is what I took home as most valuable from that course. Um, yeah, I would highly recommend it if you're at an intermediate level in regards to value. Otherwise, I would try to get to a good place with that first, because it really is important. If you don't learn value in that course, or if you aren't at a good level of value when you start taking that course, the rest of the concepts in the class won't mean a lot, because I guess you have to. She breaks a lot of the rules, and you have to know the rules to break them. Do I believe in talent or hard work? Um, Depends on the subject. Like for piano, you I think talent is very obvious that it's important, because on YouTube you can see like child prodigies in piano. So um like if you just search up like piano prodigies of like 6-year-old playing like super advanced songs that even like 20-year-olds struggle to play. um yeah, I think so. Talent, I would say, exists in that, in piano at least. But for art, you don't see child prodigies in art. um you do see like young artists, but they aren't born with talent, I guess. Like all the really popular artists are all around like, even all the I mean all the really popular young artists on Instagram, they're probably around 18. Maybe some go as low as 16. But I honestly wouldn't say their art is that good. Like they're like it. I'm talking about mostly like young artists on Instagram. Their art, it's very stylized, and I think it targets like a certain amount of people. But I wouldn't say it's like talented. Like it doesn't have a good understanding of fundamentals. So I don't think talent exists in art. I think art is much more of mindset, actually, and how to improve at, just knowing how to improve at a skill, any skill in life. For me, I don't think I don't spend that much time on art. Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm gonna make a video going over every single drawing I've made, and you can see that I start improving a lot, even though I don't draw that much. Just because I think about art a lot and I try to get as much help as I can. Like, I've snuck into like Cynic's Designs DMs, and I used to beg him to like give me, not like literally, but like I do like pester, like bother him quite frequently. Even after I took, so for context, I took a course with him. He gave me, obviously we were in like a Discord, and I always like would bother him about my anime art, even though the class was in like design. But that was kind of me in every art class I took. I was always the weeb artist that did anime stuff, and I'm kind of proud of it. Like, I don't regret it. Um. Uh. So no, I don't think art is talent. Otherwise, if it was, you'd see like 6-year-old child prodigies at it. But that doesn't exist. Hard work. It depends on the subject in art. If you're trying to be really good at skills like realistic drawing, then I think it very much is hard work. You have to draw every day. You have to like practice every day. Oh, I just read your. I'm just gonna. I'll get to that in a second because I kind of do have strong opinions about that. I was gonna make a video on it too. Maybe not a video about. So, I shall just talk about it now. Remind me what I was talking about earlier, later, if I have nothing to talk about. But yeah, no, I really want to talk about that comment. So, feedback in random art Discord servers. I think that's one of the worst ways to improve. Because I used to do that for the first 2-3 years. And I used to give feedback in random art Discord servers for fun. Because I really did enjoy seeing people improve from my efforts. And that's kind of why I started this YouTube channel, is because I like to see people improve. But the thing is about random art Discord servers is that you don't trust them. And I think the best form of improvement comes from when you 100% believe in the person you're asking help from. Like, you don't want to have, you're wasting their time and your own time if you don't like believe in the person giving you advice. So what that means is that you should believe in their work. You should like know they're good at and they're competent at what they're telling you. And once you do find a person like that, you should only ask them for help. Don't like switch around to like different people and follow random people's advice. I wouldn't recommend posting your art and asking for advice from random people. I would DM someone that you find good at art, and I would just ask only one person for their opinion, and someone that you trust. Or you could, because I mean, the other, if you do trust everyone and you really do take into heart all the feedback you get, I think you just come out being the most like, I don't know, like you're the average of all the people you learn from, and not everyone you learn from is good at they're good at different things and different styles. I trust ChatGPT, my only friend. ChatGPT is actually pretty good at critiquing art. Like, not gonna lie, I gave it some of my own artwork. The latest model, by the way, like 4.0, it was actually not bad. Like, I actually recommend it over random art Discord servers. but yeah, so gist of the story is, uh, the best the best way to improve is to find one person that you really like and you 100% believe in, and just ask that one person for advice. Don't like switch around with different people or get advice from everyone, because they may tell you different advice that so I think I should go on a tangent about how, I watched this video from, it's like a YouTube, like a chef on YouTube, about how, it was from Adam Ragusia. He does like cooking videos. I watch a lot of cooking videos, and he basically talks about how, in the in the cooking world, like no cooking video is really that bad. Like everyone, like you can improve by, there's many ways to improve and there's no one wrong way. And it's the same way for art videos. There's so many ways to improve, so everyone thinks they're right. So if you go on to a random Discord server, everyone's gonna think they're right. Because to them, sure, there's different like objective viewpoints, but I think for the level of those on public Discord servers, everyone that's giving critique, they're gonna think they're right. And everyone is right. But it's just really depends on the style that their artwork is in. If that makes sense. That's kind of a complicated issue. I might make a video on it once I gather my thoughts on it more, but I think that's the basic gist of it. And I guess to put it again, everyone's right. And there's no wrong way to teach art. There's just different paths you can go. Yeah, so that's the tricky thing about art. And that's why I think a lot of people get stuck, is that there's no one way to improve. And there's a bunch of different ways to improve. It's just that the feedback that you get has to be stacked on one singular path. It can't, you can't just be receiving feedback on from different people with different styles, I guess. And bro, I haven't touched my drawing in like ages. But this is actually kind of fun. I like talking about this. You can, art streamers, yeah, they give back feedback for free. But the thing is that, are you always gonna? It takes a long time to improve, and like, yeah, you can receive one piece of feedback from them, but is the next person you're gonna ask gonna give you feedback that's gonna build off of the previous feedback you received? That's my main concern. And that kind of goes into like T Smacker's comment. You can pick and choose. Yeah, that's true, but I think, why not just find one person to learn from? Because one person doesn't conflict with themselves. And there's so many subtle ways advice can conflict, especially in the anime art world. It's less so in the realistic art field, but in the anime art world, it's very easy to receive good advice, but it's hard for it's hard for you to actually get better, because I myself, I used to for the first 2 years of my art journey, I used to like hang out on art discords and try to learn, and I always like have my art be critiqued by other people. And yeah, some of the stuff are pretty accurate, and what I would say with and that's what I would say even to other people's artwork right now. But it's just that I never really received artwork from the same person who can monitor my progress, who can see my artwork in the long run and know me personally. That's what's I think is missing from public art Discord servers, and I think why you should avoid it. So yeah, I think yeah, T Smacker, I think. In the short term, yeah, you're gonna see maybe you're learning something, but in the long term, you're just I feel like you're gonna feel like you're not improving as fast as you could be if you just stuck with one person. Well, you don't even have to be friends with someone who wants to give critique. Like, if you see like on a lot of art Discord servers, there's gonna be a few people that really do like giving critique, and if you just talk to one person about it, um, just slide into your DMs, just learn from that one person. I think that's gonna get you miles further than talking to different people every time. And yeah, you don't even have to be their friend because they're in the art server giving critique for a reason, because they like to see people improve, and that's how I felt too, when I gave random critique to people. Um, like, we really did it just because we really like to give critique, and it does make you like it gives you a sense of like fulfillment in doing that. But not everyone likes to give critique, you know. I think a lot of artists, they take art not very methodically, so maybe not everyone will like to give critique because they don't really understand. They don't know how to vocalize what's going on in their head when they're drawing. Some do, some don't. Yeah, Steve Smith. I would just find one person to talk to. You can even send me your art. Like I have like no one to talk to, yet from this channel. Like I used to talk to a lot of people, and I used to teach art on like Fiverr, for like, for fun. Like I charge like $5 an hour. Um. To, and I honestly, I had a job at the time, and like a part time. I was making way more money at that job, but I just like to teach art, and I find it very satisfying to see people grow over time. Uh, yeah, so I advocate for mentorship. Yeah, for sure. I think that's the best way to improve at art, is to receive critiques from one person, and they can see how you're improving over time. Uh, First step to get a friend. Actually, yeah, when um, I actually do have a lot of art friends, when even before I started learning art. Um, and but the thing is, though, they weren't really the type that like to teach about it, or like teach people. So, mm, I don't know what I was gonna say. You can always find people that like to teach. Just go on any art Discord server and find someone that's pretty active. DM them. You find a mentor. Easiest way. Uh, oh, I miss Santi. I missed your comment. Um, yeah, I get what you are talking about, because when I asked for feedback from two different streamers, one of them spotted more flaws than the other. Um, they're those two streamers. They're both right. Um, there's no wrong way to critique art. There's definitely a more helpful way to critique art than the other. Um, but again, it's a subjective, and the artists themselves don't know that because, all right, they probably do know that, but they think their opinion is the best, and that's why they're telling you that. But everyone's right because everyone got to the point to where they are, and to them they think they're right. Uh, so yeah, just again, just find one person to talk to. Don't talk to many people about art. It's gonna poison and it's gonna waste your time. Um, what do you need a tutorial for? Getting a friend? um, Dreamstar, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate the sub. I've been trying to grow my socials since uh, since I do have a lot of free time these days. Um, I've before I honestly only drew for myself and like the few people that follow me on Instagram. Most people that followed me on Instagram, they're like my former classmates and teachers and like just people I knew personally. Um, but recently, it's been pretty satisfying getting to know more people, and uh, I definitely don't regret trying to focus on social media a bit more, even though it's not my primary career. Um, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna. I think now that there's less questions and I'm finally caught up, I'm gonna start drawing because. But yeah, now feel free to ask questions. I haven't touched his artwork in a while. Oh dear, having IRL people follow your art account. Uh, yeah, pretty much. But for me personally, I'm the type of person that cares a lot more about people close to me liking my art than random people online liking my art. Like I only need one person to keep me going. Um, so, but not everyone's like that. I get it. Some people like to have like a community. It's definitely less lonely, but uh, yeah, that's just how I've noticed how I work on like a fundamental level. I just care about one person's opinion, and if, or I try to rely on a few people. But there's for sure like pros and cons to that since like friends come and go, and yeah, there are periods of time where I honestly didn't have anyone to draw for, so I just didn't draw. Or you'll learn to chat while drawing. Yeah. Because yeah, the thing is that I have to look up to read the chat, and I'm still on the uh, pretty attention heavy of the attention heavy part of working on this piece. So uh, I don't know. It's hard to chat while drawing. But yeah, I guess it's a skill I need to improve in. I remember at school I was in a reading group and I would add a detail or something to my drawing and she would add the same one. And don't even care. Wait, what do you mean, Dreamstar? Was she like drawing the same artwork as you? Or was she like copying you like? maliciously. Not maybe that's not the best word, but like she was just trying to copy you. He needs to go to the streamer skills tree so he can read the chat while drawing. Yeah, probably. Maybe it's just a habit I have to develop because uh, I typically never talk while I'm drawing. Uh, if I were to make a video about like walking, like about my art, I would typically just add talking like post, or I'd maybe like pause it a little bit, talk about the artwork, and keep going. But I wouldn't talk while drawing, so it's a skill that I've never developed before. Yeah, so my uh uh wait, yeah, wait, Dreamstar, like, so she was just like mimicking you, I guess, and you didn't like that. um yeah, well, I think right now the issue is that I'm using my iPad to draw, which means that I can't have the chat open. Well, I can have the chat open, but it makes my drawing area like a bit smaller, and it will show my chat on the screen. Well, I guess I could do that. Let me see. I don't think that worked. Wait, is my stream still going? Oh, wait, I'm using Stream Champ. Yeah, I don't think that works. So yeah, no, I have the chat open on my computer in front of me and my references. And I'm only using my iPad to draw right now. Yeah, no, I'm using Procreate, which is an iPad app. This is actually not normal to what I use. Usually I draw on PC. But it's just for this one I felt like drawing on iPad because I wanted to record like a time lapse for Instagram. So I thought using the iPad would be better because at least when I record on PC, it's very difficult because also my setup right now is I have my gaming laptop. It's like a mid-range gaming laptop. It has like a pretty high-end Ryzen CPU. But it's still a laptop CPU, so it's not the best. And my primary display is a 4K monitor, and my drawing tablet is a 1080p monitor or display tablet. So it is pushing out a lot of pixels, and when I have the recording going as well, on a 4K display or on a not 4K on my drawing tablet, yeah, it's really like computationally intensive, and Photoshop is also computationally intensive. So my laptop will like it'll overheat and shut down. So that's why I also struggle to stream on Discord because of that. I think sharing my screen on Discord, it really like slows down my PC, and almost like to a point where it's like almost unusable. And I honestly think it's kind of tragic because my laptop is pretty good. It's Asus Zephyrus G14. It's like the 2020 version, I think. So in that generation, well, I'm kind of like a tech nerd. So I would say I'm pretty tech savvy. Also because of my computer science background. yeah, despite all that, my laptop still can't handle it, which is kind of sad. Do I like drawing in every place you go, or just at home? Well, earlier I was working on this piece at a coffee shop, and um, there's this one coffee shop that I always go to. It's a really nice coffee shop, and I draw there a lot because I like coffee in general. I'm definitely like a coffee person, I would say. Um, uh, so yeah, no, I definitely do like to draw in other places, and I actually just try to avoid drawing at home because at home I might like get distracted or um just find something else to do because I'm definitely not like uh I do things by feel. So if I feel like doing something else, I'll do that other thing. But if I make myself go to a coffee shop and draw there, I'll be productive for like a few hours. Oh yeah, yeah, Dreamstar. The question again was she was like mimicking you and you didn't like that? Is that what it seemed like was going on? Okay, let's draw. Okay, let's finally detail the clothes, make it like somewhat appealing. These shapes are pretty ugly, so I have to change it. Oh yeah, she copied you. Um, yeah. What was it like? Was she trying to be funny or? Well, I think I guess she's just trying to like. I don't think she had like bad intentions. I guess maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you have to find new people to sit next to. And I'm assuming this is like a grade school, though. Do I have a plug? I don't. I should make one. Should I make one right now? Wait, Dreamstar. What are you referring to? I sorry, I forgot the context. What I think? Uh, are you answering to the question about was this grade school? Um, yeah, one part of me does want to make a Discord server, but also another part um, makes me not want to make a Discord server because I feel like a lot of uh, streamer art servers, at least the one I've seen, um, I don't really want to make I don't want to make it like about improving at art. Um, and honestly, like my channel on YouTube, it's not even gonna be a lot about art anyways. I kind of I plan to make videos on like stuff like well, it'll be primarily art content, but I also might make some videos on like crochet. Um, I make a lot of like amigurumi, if you know what that is. I might send a picture of it in the chat. And so it's like I make like chibi versions of like anime characters in like knit form, I guess, or crochet form. So if I do make a server, I wouldn't really make it primarily about drawing. Maybe it would just be like a more like definitely more like casual, like maybe uh like like maybe it's like a positive vibe server, and like just all about like improving yourself and like getting better. um so like, because I think one thing that we need more in this world is people like uh being happy and like proud to share what they've done, regardless of like whether it's art or like, I don't know, um other stuff. Like I want to see people like going to the gym and being proud of that, or I want to see people like getting like an A on their test. Like I want to learn how to crochet so bad. uh, and yeah, arts Discord art servers. Yeah, so the thing is, yeah, the toxicity as well. I don't. If I do make an art server, I wouldn't put like critique channels in it. So I would just like have a maybe like just one art channel, honestly. And it just honestly be about like getting to know other positive people, and uh just trying to like become better, I guess. I think that's I'm personally more interested in seeing people being proud of like their accomplishments, and just positive vibes, just everyone like being happy. And yeah. uh yeah, uh I'll make the Discord server right now, but honestly it'll probably be, I won't like set anything up officially, because I do want to keep it like pretty chill and casual. I don't want to waste time like setting up a server that only like 10 people use. Like obviously if the community comes like a few thousand, then sure, I'll like put some more effort into it, but I think for now I can just leave it. uh I'm setting it up right now. I just sent the link in the chat, so it's pretty empty right now, obviously, but yeah, I'll actually send a picture of what I crochet, because I don't know if I think people might be pretty interested in that, because it's honestly such an underrated form of art, I would say, and especially with like a lot of AI art on the rise, this is kind of like a fun thing to learn. Yeah. Let's see. I don't want. I'm not gonna open it right now. because I honestly don't have it set up. But yeah, so I sent in the if you join the Discord server, I want to make videos on how to make stuff like this because uh, I want to start going to like anime cons and selling these type of things like crochet because honestly like it just feels I tabled at like Anime Expo before and selling art I don't know, it just it's fun. I made a profit for sure and I sold like a few hundred posters, but it wasn't something that I really found deep satisfaction in. I personally like to like I want to give like I feel like for me giving selling people like crochet stuff, it just feels a lot more personal because people can like carry it around and like uh I guess it'll be their buddies. Like people will have it like I don't know hanging somewhere, and I just feel like it's so much cooler than just having like a poster just hanging on your wall that you only look at like a few minutes a day. Like if you have like if you give someone a piece of like crochet like figure like the one I sent in the chat, they're gonna be like putting it like on their backpack or something, and I think that's a lot more impactful than just a poster. Uh, yeah. So AI stuff. So I think it's for me personally. I don't draw because I don't feel competition by any other artists or AI art, and I'm not trying to go into the professional art industry. I just like to draw because I like to get better at things. So I personally don't feel much pressure from AI, but obviously, like I know a lot of artists are trying to like um, find jobs and stuff. And yeah, I think if I were in their shoes, I would definitely feel like pressure against it. And yo, Dreamstar, I'm definitely gonna try to make some videos soon on crochet. So definitely stick around for that because I think it's I want to make like step by step tutorials and like and how to make like full on like figures just from scratch, and even like custom figures. I, I shouldn't be calling them figures, but just dolls, I guess. But yeah, see ya, Dreamstar. Um, so and also I regarding the AI stuff, I personally like I'm personally like kind of into learning that type of thing. That's kind of what I do at my college and like my college right now. I study I'm doing research in AI right now. It's not related to art, but well, I do research in like archiving like piano music. It's super random, but it's just what I'm doing right now. It's using like transformers from like stuff like ChatGPT, and it's I think it's definitely very interesting to learn about. So I think part of me understands AI, so I'm not very scared of it. At the same time, it could go in very different routes that I might not imagine. So, like AGI, I don't know how that's gonna impact the world we live in. AGI is artificial general intelligence, which is what everyone's like afraid of, and like self improving robots and stuff like that. And yeah, Pochita crochet from an old lady at the con. I've also been thinking about making anime chibi plushies, but uh, Actually, that's a good point. Yeah, can you um get sued for selling them? Interesting. Um, I guess uh like I know there's like a lot of anime cons. They typically sell fan art, and that's the number one thing that sells. Like when I tabled at Anime Expo, my um my Chainsaw Man art fan art sold out first, which I honestly didn't like it that much. But people still bought it. So the lesson I learned from tabling is that definitely try to sell fan art. Don't try to sell OC. Uh, so what was I gonna say? Gee, I guess it's the same gray area as selling fan art. It's only illegal if you get caught. Was that referring to the AI thing that T Smacker made? Um, but yeah, I don't think people will get sued for selling Genshin art because I think, or not, I say Genshin because that's the number one thing, but like, I think other anime art. Um, Actually, has there ever been an instance of someone getting sued? I don't think so. There's from what I've heard or from what I've seen, there's never been someone that's gotten sued by selling anime art at a convention. I think maybe Nintendo will do it, because Nintendo obviously Nintendo is just gonna do their own thing and not care about. It's like, bro, they like, I'm not sure if you guys heard, but they sued their own tournaments. Uh, because they were doing like slightly. I think it was slightly against their terms of service. I'm not even sure 100% sure about that. Maybe it was like slightly like in the gray area. Actually, I think that was the more correct thing. Or I mean, that was what actually happened. Uh, where is I in the chat? I was neutral with AI until I had to prove people I don't use AI, which was something I, wow, yeah. Um, I'm not sure if you guys have seen, but there's a new AI model that can produce time lapses of your art. Uh, I'm gonna link the video in the chat because I think everyone should see it to be aware of it. Where is it? Yeah, I'm gonna link in the chat. I think everyone should like at least be aware of it. It's basically that you can feed it any type of artwork, and it will generate like a realistic looking time lapse of the piece. So even now, well, obviously the time lapse does have some things uh, that make it like not realistic, but I think to the average person, and it might even catch some normal people off. Uh, yeah, it's definitely not gonna catch. It's not gonna. It's definitely not gonna fool like actual artists, but to the normal person, I guess it would, or like to the normal person on Instagram, let's say, like if you're an artist like trying to like post art, I think your main audience is like not very like just people interested in anime art. They might not draw, but they're just interested in it. That could fool them, I guess. Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of inconsistencies, but I still think it might fool like the average anime fan who might not draw at all. Obviously, if you do draw, you probably would catch that it doesn't. It's not like it doesn't speed paint like an average person, or the typical video of a speed paint would look like. Uh, bro, I should be like moving my canvas or something to just. I'm not drawing. And also I'm probably gonna end the stream in like maybe 30 minutes just to make it like a 2 hour stream. Cause I really do have to start working on it. This piece was for my friend's birthday. Uh, like so, I think at the beginning of the stream I was talking about how I was gonna draw. I typically draw like sketches of people's OCs for their birthdays, but I was a day late to one of my closest friends. Uh, I missed his birthday, so I was gonna make it up to him by drawing like a full illustration, which is what this piece was. This is his OC. Um, Wait, so really, someone got sued for selling anime art? Um, wow, that's rough. I guess I guess you just have to stick to uh like IPs that are pretty safe, like maybe Genshin Impact. So um maybe also just like other animes, because I think it's just the 1% of like people of like studios out there that hates their art being sold. So I guess there is some people to avoid, or some art to some series of or games to avoid. Um. Oh yeah, so that's a good point, T Smacker. They don't sue until mass produced. So yeah, I guess. Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up too. Like, I'm sure if Genshin Impact were to table at like Anime Expo or like some big anime con, they're gonna know that the fan art of their own series is being sold. And if that was the case, then they would. Well, they know about it, so I assume that they're gonna let it go if they're not doing anything about it. Uh, um, yeah, there's a lot of inconsistencies. I think we just talked about that. Yeah, Vine too. There, good points. I think I just missed your comments. Good points about the selling fan art. That's definitely true. Selling fan art is definitely the way to go at conventions. Um, it's sad, but like my OC art was, I think it was, they were objectively better. At least to me they looked better, but they just sold less. Um, Tragically. Um, yeah, thank you, T Smacker. I really appreciate it. The colors are not. I think I still have a bit of ways to go to bring more interest, but it's definitely going in the right direction, I think. Yeah, Orangey. He got really unlucky considering people like Sakimi-chan, um, are out there making millions making fan art. Well, I think she makes her money off of Patreon, if I remember correctly. Maybe I could be wrong. Uh, or maybe she has both. Uh, um, yeah, MiHoYo's creator program. Forgot about that. Yeah, they definitely. I like how they. I don't get why companies would like sue artists for selling their art. I think if anything, it just brings more traction to their IP, which is a good thing. I think like suing someone's like kind of like a big fu to the to your own fans, kind of like what Nintendo does to um their own viewers or their own like players. Uh, that kind of not so that kind of looks like the girl from the not so shoujo love story. Let me search that up. I've never heard of that. Um, not so. Is this like the shoujo? Kind of seeing it. I guess like the same hair color and eyes, and yeah, the outfit's pretty similar. But yeah, my friend's OC is just kind of like a generic blonde school like sailor outfit design. Uh yeah, do be like that with OCs. The thing though is that actually uh if you've tabled at Artist Alley before, well I think you'll find that a lot of artists like a lot of other like artists like tabling at the con will like come up to each other and like do art trades. Um, so actually, like I really appreciate the moments where like artists would come up to my table and uh, only pick out my OC pieces because they themselves knew that the OC pieces would sell less. Um, so it's definitely like a still a nice thing that it's definitely like what was I gonna say uh a wholesome moment that goes on between artists at anime conventions. But her Patreon is fan art as well. I think this was referring to Sakimi-chan. Um, yeah. Weren't they like recently like trying to like limit content on their platform, like in regards to like fan art and like R18 and like lolly content? I think they were. I forgot. Maybe it was a different platform. Yeah. Or NGA. Yeah. I wish that was the more popular sentiment at conventions. But also, uh, not everyone that goes to the conventions are in the art scene, like the Twitter art scene, let's say, or Instagram art scene, so they might not know the artists individually. That was kind of me when I started first going to anime cons. I didn't even draw at the time. I just looked for my favorite characters, which obviously isn't gonna be an OC of an artist. Yeah, OC art takes a bit of time to build up, but it is better to do in the long run. Um, Definitely agree with that. You should. I think artists should do wants, whatever makes them want to draw. So it's always good to uh, do OCR, I guess, especially for like, I guess studies or like practice illustrations that you're using to practice. So yeah. Okay. I really want to get some like interesting steps done, so when people go back to the stream, they can see progress being made. Maybe I'll get started on the color FX stage. So right now, all the sky, the cherry blossom petals, they're all pretty like graphic. I guess I might try to like make them like blend more in terms of like noise. So this area is less noisy. So I'm gonna try to play with the background and with the petals. I did some small thing with an overlay layer. Overlay layers, for me, I use them to vary hue. So it's very good for changing the hue of things in the area. I honestly don't know how I'm going to do this. Let me think. What do I... I'm just gonna work on the background. Because right now it's just like a... I just have some noise in the background, but... The brush I'm using right now is a square brush. I actually really like this brush. It was given me by Jackie Lee from the previous video. It's like... It's literally like a square. Like, if you do one, it'll make squares. And I think it makes a really nice line, I think. I don't even know what I'm gonna do in the background. I might just like... Damn, I think I have to lock in. Okay. The difficult thing right now is that... Okay. So I'm gonna make a copy of this canvas. So just so it's flat. I'm gonna play around with the colors. This is not gonna be any permanent changes. This is one of the things I like to do. So once my base is in a good foundation, which it is pretty right now, but I think it's missing a lot of like effects that can make it look nice, like blending or like blurring or other things. I'm gonna start to play around with layer effects. So one of my favorite layers is overlay for that. I want to try to get some reds in because I think blending the reds with... I want to only touch the sky right now. Or do I? Let's try pin light. Pin light's pretty nice too. Do I usually plan things out or plan or sketch? Yeah. Wait, can you wind back the stream? Like, can you go back to the beginning? Because I think in the beginning I show the time lapse of how I got to where I was right now. And I did show the complete progress. Yeah, the tragic thing is that I might not be able to make the change that I want right now. I might just have to go back to um to working on the shapes and stuff. Maybe it's not even like at the right step. Yeah, sure thing, Ashley. I should also maybe I'll do next stream. But yeah. Honestly, part of me is like not really feeling it right now. Maybe just because I've been talking too much. Yeah, maybe I just do have to go back to the shapes. Back to the boring part, I guess. But I'll probably end it now, to be honest. End the stream now. I'll probably just have some dinner and maybe come back to working on it because I do have to finish it by tonight. But yeah, I'm gonna post the Discord link again in case anyone's not in it. But yeah, thank you guys everyone for stopping by. It was honestly pretty great first stream experience. I'll definitely do streams like this again. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. My next video will probably be going over every single art piece that I've made in the past 5 years. And I'll be talking about little insights that I've learned. So if you're at the stage of where my art was a few years ago, then maybe that could be the insight you need. Because I honestly think more artists should talk about, be more transparent about their progress, about how they improve. And I want to try to make things like super transparent about how I learned as an artist. But yeah, have a nice day, guys. I'll see you guys next time.